one of the UK's biggest fitness influencers, a positive mental attitude, a dad every single day, and the face that we all love to see at Hyrox. Hello and welcome to On the Rocks podcast with me, Coach Marshy. Hope you're all well. So we're going to dive straight into today and we're going to welcome today's guest to the show. Welcome Mr PMA himself, Faisal. How are you, Faisal?
What's happening, Marshy? You sexy, husky voice, you. Mate, I love that intro, bro. That was amazing. Loved all the footage there. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm buzzing. Let's get into it.
Wicked. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into something that people may not see as an angle here, but let's talk about you're a dad. Every single day you're a dad, and you're talking about 21 weekends in the last, or whatever it was, 21 weekends in the last Hyrox season.
Yep.
That's a lot of weekends to be at Hyrox. Anyone who's been to one who's a parent, mother or father, will understand the kind of demand of a weekend, let alone doing what you do there. So
Yeah.
talk to me about being a dad. And recently you've shouted out all the dads out there and, you know, all of us out there working hard for our families and everything else. Just talk to us about that kind of 21 weekends and being a dad and your role in the fitness world and how that's kind of affected family life.
I feel people are only going to relate to this if they're parents. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those classic things. Like you know, if you're not a mom or a dad, like you can have some appreciation, you can have some like understanding, but you're never actually going to fully know until you become a parent. So yeah, 20, like you done your homework there. So 21 weekends in the season last year I was away, and it's you know, that's typically flying out Friday and coming back either very late Sunday night or first thing Monday morning. So, and unfortunately, our setup at home, we're kind of quite excluded from like the grandparents. Like they both live down the coast, and it takes a bit of time to like book it in the diary and so forth. So sometimes, yeah, Louise is at home and she's doing the lion's share, and with two kids, especially two of my children who are very energetic, that does take its toll. So, but it's that, you know, talking about dads, talking about, you know, being the man and going out to work and so forth. It's that very classic, you know, saying of like, so you either sacrifice work to have more time at home, or you either sacrifice time at home to make more money and support the family. There's unfortunately there's no in between. All we can do is strive for the best, and the best is to be as present as possible when you are at home. I.e., when you're at home, try not to be in work mode. Try not to be on the phone as much, which I fail quite a few times. So that's the toll it takes on the family. And whenever I'm at Hyrox, and people always ask me like, what's the favorite moment in Hyrox? Like, and my favorite moments are when I see children with their like grandparents supporting mum and dad, like, you know, because we have such a majority of the time at the wall station, so I see so many people. So for me, those moments where I can go up to the kid and be like, "What's your name?" and they go, "Oh, it's Jack," and I'm like, where's your mom? Where's your dad? And they tell me, and I get on the microphone. Like, if I had someone saying to me on a microphone, if I'm there trying to do 100 wall balls, and I had someone go, "Faisal, I've got Rafi here. Rafi's watching," I'm getting goosebumps. It would give me so much energy, and this is something that again parents will only understand. It would give me, and then if that MC picked up my child, picked up Rafi, and brought him over to me, so I love those moments. I love being able to do that for mums and dads, and you know they come up to me. Yeah. They
That's
come up to me
that's
afterwards and they're like, "Thank you so much. Like that was such an amazing moment." Or they send me a DM, the day after, whatever. So it's they're the special moments for me because parents will only understand it, from one parent to the other.
yeah. Actually, I've never told this story, but in Hyrox Olympia last season, Geddy, you know what it's like when we come in Purple Army and they're all there and they're all
Yeah, yeah,
screaming
yeah.
and stuff. And Geddy, obviously, like having seen you guys a couple of days beforehand, Geddy then sort of was like looking at our lot in the crowd, and Rachel, one of our coaches, is like that, and Tatey, and they're giving it a big one, and they're saying, "Geddy, come here, come here." And my son was there, and Geddy put
Oh,
the mic,
amazing.
and I'm like 50 wall balls in or whatever, and he goes, "Go on, Daddy," and it was just that exact moment you've described, and it was like good one. It was
Mate,
like,
it's powerful stuff. It really is. It's powerful stuff, and it's something that you kind of only get at a Hyrox, to be fair. Like there are loads of other events and fitness events and races and stuff, but I think Hyrox is the one that actually what's the word, like encapsulates that moment. So I'd like to think I started that. I started the whole bringing the kid over thing. So
yeah, no, I like it. I think it's really cool. I think, you guys, you, Geddy, Gus, all of you, you all do like a fantastic job of involving everyone in and around that area and like the kids and stuff. And I think that's credit to you guys. And I think it's important that Hyrox as an establishment acknowledge the work that you've done there, because for me, that can make the difference to so many people on so many levels. And like you said, what you said about being a dad, and it's a thin line. Do you sacrifice the family and work harder for your career, or do you vice versa? And I
yeah,
think, what you're building and what you've built sort of over your whole career, not just at Hyrox, but prior to that, you know, you're out there sacrificing, and because sometimes you have to miss those moments, right? You miss those important moments. Try not to,
yeah,
but you do.
yeah.
And, you know,
I mean,
what does it
speaking
all
of those important moments, but like, so Amsterdam coming up, the first event in my calendar, it's a major. That's the weekend of Cleo's second birthday, so I'm at the house for 4 days. Not that
Oh,
like she's gonna know that I'm missing her second birthday. If it was like her fourth or fifth, I'd be like, oh. But yeah, so in
yes.
and
I was
you
asking you
literally
a
just said it.
real kind of, it's quite a personal question, but it's something that I've experienced actually.
Yeah,
You, you know, your other half could say, "Oh, don't worry about it. Your friends and family, don't worry about it. It's okay. You're out there. We get it. We get that you do your job, and we get you're a professional." But like, none of that matters, does it? Because to you, inside as a dad, you're still missing that moment, and no matter what anyone says to console you, it still really matters to you, doesn't it? That you're missing it.
yeah. But then also it's like I'm missing it for a good reason because the bigger picture is I'm providing and supporting my family whilst not being there. So you have to kind of think of that, and it's obviously at such a workplace like like High Rocks, where there's so much distraction, there's so much noise, and obviously the way that I you know give myself to the role, it's a huge distraction. But then when I get back to the hotel, I have a quick little catch up, and I hear or see, or, if I can get a FaceTime, or I get sent pictures and stuff. Like I get from my mom, who's looking after them and whatever. So that just like brings me back to like, okay, cool. I'm missing out, but when I am home, I need to make sure that I dive straight back into being like 100% dad mode. So yeah, you got to kind of have to switch between the different modes of life, I suppose.
Yeah, no, absolutely, wearing the different hats, I guess. So,
That's it.
you know, enough about being dad. Let's talk about you. I'd
Yeah.
imagine a lot of people know you from Hyrox, but before Hyrox, PMA, the whole kind of Instagram birth that came from Instagram being a part of our lives, and your story always, like every morning, PMA, let's be positive. Like my impressions of you won't be as good as yours and mine, but I think like the PMA world, a lot of us did follow you. The fitness world, we probably knew who you were before Hyrox, but just in case people don't know, listening, and have only sort of seen you in the Hyrox space, tell us a little bit about you and how you've ended up getting to where you are now and the point that you are, and we'll go into the Hyrox specifics in a minute.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, so I always wanted to be an actor from a very young age. Like, I used to do a lot of TV and film work when I was a kid, and I just thought, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to get picked up by a director one day, and I'll just become a famous actor. That's how I thought it was just going to happen, which it never did. Got stuck in a 9 to 5 sales job, and I was just thinking, like, what am I doing? And then, one day I just found myself auditioning for a fitness studio in London. It was called Barry's Boot Camp, and it was 2012 is when it first came over, and it was obviously the first of its kind. Now there's so many different companies and names and brands, but it's essentially the same thing. It's group exercise with dark lighting and music and a coach shouting at you, basically motivating you. But yeah, so I kind of started that journey, and I still wanted to be an actor, but I thought I'd do this on the sideline. And just a snowball effect really happened. And, through the doors of Barry's Boot Camp, you had celebrities and VIPs, and that led me into like the celebrity personal trainer avenue. And then through that, you get a lot more awareness because people are seeing you with certain people and whatever. And, the men's health and the TV appearances and all that type of stuff. And the PMA aspect, because I finished every single class. Then I don't do it as much now because it's not the same vibe as Barry's, but I always used to end the class by saying, reach up, make your body 10 feet tall, clench your fists and pull down your positive mental attitude. And at first it like felt so cheesy to most people, but then people just kind of gave me the nickname of like, oh, Mr PMA. And that's when I changed my Instagram handle to PMA Fitness, and I, without really knowing or having any intention, the brand started to build. Because nowadays, like a 23-year-old or someone who's just getting into the fitness industry, they've kind of got a path that they can follow to get to the point they want to. Whereas back then it was just kind of trailblazing, and Instagram was growing, and there was no like that's how I live my life anyway. There was no real like plan. It's kind of just like law of attraction, I suppose. And then just everything kind of built, like I had a book that came out, the PMA method. Just to describe, because people go, what is PMA? You're like, it's not just positive thinking, it's a way of life. It's 3 pillars about moving well, eating well, and thinking more positively. So if you can master those 3 elements, then you're onto a step to living a better life. And I obviously believe in that, and I say to myself and other people as well, like I without knowing, so subconsciously, I try to impose my will on people. And a few people say, oh, you're so energetic. I can feel it from you. And it's like, that's just me. It's not fake. It's not put on. I know a lot of people who try very hard. We call them tryhards. To be that toxic positivity pushy person, and there is such a thing as toxic positivity, but I think nowadays people can see straight through it. And I've always been very organic, and I've always said from day one, it's positive mental attitude, not perfect mental attitude, which means not every day you're going to feel positive, but it's about finding the tools to manage your way through the ups and downs that life can throw at you.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, and I think that's really good to understand that and to hear you say it as well.
Yeah,
because I think following it, and you're right, that whole toxic positivity, or even people that are putting it on. I think in the fitness world, it is very easy to see through that now. But I think for me, going through my career and ending up as a gym owner, what I've kind of had fed back to me is, I think, Neil, you've got to where you've got to because you just do what you do. You just do you. And I think, you're obviously that type of person that has just kind of done you, and it's spiraled and grown and had this effect on people that we now all tune in every day on your Instagram, and we're like, where's our PMA? We want our PMA this morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean, I remember one of our earliest members at my gym. She was the one who showed me your account.
Oh,
Um,
really? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she absolutely loved you to bits, and she was like, "Oh, get him in, see if you can get him to the gym." And I was like, "Oh, Saskia, this is going to be like hard to get him to the gym." And then we met just through sort of like luck, really, because of location where we are. We met Rhiannon Lambert, the nutritionist, and I
Yep.
knew
Yep.
I was like, "Oh, Rhi, I don't know if you could see if you can get Faisal in, or like if you ever meet him, we'll see him in London or whatever." But yeah, no, we were like, Saskia was a big fan of yours early on, and you
Mate,
know,
let's make it
most,
happen. Let's make a trip to Cambridge. Come on, a little Faisal PMA masterclass. Let's do some workouts.
it'd be great if you came. It'd be really cool. And obviously, Champ, as we call her, Carol.
Yeah.
Champ Carol's here as well, and she was like, "Oh, we should get him like come and do like a master class or whatever." And I'm sure we'll be able to like sell it out and get everyone down. So that'd be
Bro,
good.
that's an easy fix. We'll do that. That's an easy
We'll give it a
fix.
go. That'd be cool. So the Hyrox journey, the
Yeah.
the bit that I want to know is like a storyteller as a podcast. Love Greg and Rock's Life and UK Racing Podcast. They're great because they've got their own kind of thing that they do. My thing is to get the story and
Yeah.
like people understanding you and how that relationship with Hyrox started, or was it just sort of luck, or did something happen? How did you
Yeah.
really meet the guys originally and end up where you are now?
I mean, it's very organic. So the first London event post COVID was 21 or
Yeah,
20. Yeah, I think it's
two,
21.
21.
London or 22. Yeah, it was in London Excel, and I think I got asked by someone, and I couldn't do it. And then I could do it because that previous event got cancelled, and. And then someone else said, "Oh, you should get Gus and Faisal to do it. They'd be great and whatever." And obviously, like, Gus has had loads of experience from hosting events at WIT, and I've had loads of experience from obviously being on the TV and doing other racing, fitness racing events. So we just had a little chat with Christian. Christian came down to WIT one day and sat us down and told us what it was all about. And obviously we heard all the hype, and everyone was talking about it and this and that. And we were like, okay, cool. We'll jump on a mic, and we did the first London. And yeah, and then I just got a phone call saying, "Do you want to come out and do Amsterdam?" And I was like, "Yeah, wicked." So I did that, and then they said, "Do you want to come out and do this one?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And they kept ringing me saying, "Can you come and do this one, do that one?" And then they were like, "Oh, do you want to come and do the World Championships in Las Vegas?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So flew out, did that, which was just a whole whirlwind of a journey. It was only like I was there for like 4 days, 5 days. It was mad. And then it kind of just organically grew in terms of like mapping out the whole season. It's like, right, let's book you in for this amount for this season. And like anything, consistency always pays off, and getting to really kind of like master. I always try to better myself with every single event that I do. Like I always try and turn up and have this like humble approach of like wanting to do better rather than just turning up. And a lot of people say really really nice things about me and Hyrox, but I try not to listen to that. I try to hold the microphone in my hand and just try and somehow do something a little bit better, or learn something, or try to manage my voice a bit better, because by the end of the day it's gone. And yeah, and then obviously with all the elite races now, I think that's playing a bit more of a crucial role from what I hear from them. you know them saying to me, "Oh, it's so nice to know that you're going to be there." Kind of, not that it settles their nerves. They're all professional and called elites for a reason, but I think it adds that routine of having the
Yeah,
same voice or the same person doing the countdown or getting the crowd going and whatever. So yeah, a few of the elites have said some really nice things as well. So and I just think, yeah, consistency will always make an event better, in my opinion. Obviously, Hyrox try to do things to broaden and make the event better, but I think fundamentally having the same pillars in place always kind of works. So yeah, that's my journey, and I've just booked. Well, we've just about to lock in the 24-25 season, and I think this is going to be the best season to date. Like some really interesting races in the elites, and I just think with the different communities, like what do they say? So last year was like 170,000 athletes, but they've predicted this season like almost 450,000. I know there's
Yeah.
more events and more regions, but it's just crazy to think that they're reaching that many people and improving that many people's lives. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, just on that would say the growth curve means we're talking about 1 million the season after,
Yeah,
potentially.
yeah, yeah. Well, the 25, 26. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
20. Yeah,
Crazy.
it's going to be
Yeah,
huge, and it's going big. And actually, you talk there and about consistency of the event, and like I said at the beginning on the intro, that and the face that we all love to see at Hyrox, and it works at all levels, doesn't it? Because we come into Excel, Olympia, Manchester, wherever we are, and we're like, or worlds even, we're in a foreign country. Yeah, right. We've dominated as the UK, and I get that in terms of
yeah.
numbers, but you're still in a foreign country. But when we walk in to watch the elite race, it's all right. Faisal's there. Faisal's here. It's all good. Like, there's a few things that you are starting to expect now. And, it would be like if you're a football fan and you go to a ground and they have a tune that they always play when the team comes out or something like that. There's little
Or a
things that make,
mascot.
well, exactly. There's
Me
little
just
things
wearing
that
a big
matter.
costume. Way.
I mean, maybe we could all like select a UK event and all come dressed up as Faisal to an
Yeah,
event.
just get a big
Like,
cliff going. That's it. Yeah,
yeah,
you'll be happy. What, it's
yeah,
funny because now obviously like the days are getting longer. Like we do shift work. Before we would just work from start to finish, which would kill us. But now obviously like 3 day events. All the European ones are minimum 2 days now. So we do shift work, and I've actually started getting a lot of DMs going, where were you? You weren't at the finish line. You didn't shout my name out. There was no high five. And obviously, like I was back at the hotel room, probably sleeping. And it's like there's almost like that. They're throwing that responsibility on me. Like, their moment was to have me shout their name out, which is lovely. But I know it kills me because I'd want to be there for everyone. I noticed the background picture. Gustavo's in it and not me, which has
yeah.
annoyed me. Do you know, it's
I
annoyed
know.
me. I can't believe it.
As soon as I put it on, I was like, "Oh, Gus is in the picture. Like, what's going on?" I'm sure.
uh,
I'm sure
but
Geddy would say the same.
yeah,
But
exactly. But yeah, no,
I think
it's got
like,
to that, which is nice. It's nice. It's nice that some people, um, like you say, expect that from their Hyrox experience. So it's lovely. It's really nice. So
I
yeah,
mean, we never know who's going to listen to this or see it, but like, just to point out as a kind of consumer and as a coach of many that participate, what I would say is like the Purple Army. We now would get disappointed if Gus, Faisal, or Geddy
weren't there?
didn't. But if it was one of you, we're
Yeah,
kind of cool. But
one's
like
all right.
if
Yeah,
it's
one's all right.
outside of you three, we're a bit like, oh, what you're
Yeah,
saying, that whole thing about the DMs. Oh, where were you on my finish? But I've done a bit of microphone work as well, and I do appreciate that they are long days when you're kind of trying to motivate people across the finish line and be like basically the voice that everyone but nobody's listening to, that type of thing. And
pretty much. Yeah,
I think that's kind of the way I've always seen it. So,
yeah.
but I like what you say about this idea of, growth and doing something different.
Mm,
Trying to learn from the last one and do something better the next time. I think in this world, those of us that I believe are genuinely in the fitness world, we're there to try and improve people and make a difference in people's lives and maybe even pay something forward that we've learned. And I think when we take the aspect of, like, you see all sorts of cheesy comments, 1% every day better.
yeah,
Actually, when we take that into our work, I feel that can really make a difference to individuals and they can react really well to it. And your PMA and how that all started and what it stands for, and then the Hyrox world of inclusivity. For me, I think Hyrox has done wonders for the world of functional fitness, even though it's a race. I get that
massively.
it's a race, but it's done wonders for us in the industry. And I think it
Yeah.
deserves more credit than it is getting.
Yeah.
You know, I think it gets credit, but it could do with a bit more credit, in my opinion.
I think that'll come naturally. They'll, you know, like anything, there'll come a point where it's like, all right, it's everyone's from different media sources or industries will be like, okay, cool, this is actually legit, and it's more than just a race. Like a marathon. You know, you watch the elites first thing on a Sunday morning. You know, you tune in at 10 o'clock and you watch them cross the line at whatever midday, but then you tune back in at 4 o'clock and then you see millions of people crossing the line, and you think, oh, actually, this is pretty cool. It's weight, and everyone's running for a different reason, charities and personal situations and stuff, and we know this within the Hyrox community and world, but I think, like you just said, Len, the external industries and parts will finally tune in and be like, they're doing something special here.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, because it was a later question, but on that note, so of all those sort of stories and things that you must have seen come across the finish line, you know,
Yeah.
you'll have seen thousands by now.
Yep.
Is there any one or two that sort of maybe stick out as a bit of a kind of moment where you went, oh wow, look at the impact of that on that person, or look at what they've done that for? Is there anything that sticks out?
There's a couple actually. Oh, I've forgotten her name. Is it Tori? The one with
Tor, yeah.
Yeah, Tor. Bless her. She did. Was it her? Was it? She did a solo,
Yeah,
but she had her
first solo.
friends like run with her. Right. That was London XL last
last
season.
year.
Yeah, I remember. She came in to the wall balls, and obviously we had the Thunderdome, and it was me, Gus, and Geddy were all there, and we made a big deal out of it. But there was this moment where every wall ball she was repping, I got the crowd to go, "Whoa, hey, whoa, hey." And then it got to a point where I didn't need to do it on a mic. The whole Thunderdome were just doing it for her. And then I remember Gustavo had to go behind the speakers because he started crying because Gustavo's a very emotional person. I get emotional as well, but I kind of try and hold it in a bit more. But he started, and it's like seeing my brother cry. Like when he started crying, I was like, "Don't you start doing this because I'm gonna cry as well." And no one saw it because we hid behind the speaker. So that was quite special, just because when she crossed the line, it was, you know, she's such an incredible inspiration, and you can't really put yourself in her shoes because we don't know what she's experiencing. But that was pretty cool. And there was a time as well in Rimini where I got. Was it Rimini? No, sorry, not Rimini. The World Championships in Nice. He was an American athlete. I think he was 77 or something. And again, he
I
was
was
the
right
last.
there. I was in
You
that
were
little
there?
tunnel. Yeah, what was his name?
So I can't
Oh,
remember his name, but like, so I got everyone to almost do like a guard of honor. I said, everyone get a guard of honor, blah, blah, blah. Because Christian said like, oh, new rule, if you're 77, then you have to do 77 wall balls because he was taking a
yeah.
long time. Rightly so.
Pete. His name was Pete.
Pete,
Pete was
it
his
was
name. Pete.
Pete. You remembered it. It
Yeah,
was
Pete.
Pete. And yeah, I just remember everyone creating a guard of honor and just him running through it, and I was just like, this is. I mean, it was obviously a more special occasion because it was the World Championships, but it's just like it was just amazing. Like just celebrating people who you wouldn't even glance twice at if they walked down the street. Do you know what I mean? If you saw Hunter McIntyre or Megan Jacoby, you would naturally look at them because they're impressive humans to look at aesthetically. Like you can tell they're athletes. But Tor and Pete, you know, you just be like, oh, there goes you know, just a normal Joe. But then if you were to come to that moment, you'd be like, wow, look what they're achieving, look what they're doing. Like, so it's those moments stand out for me, and all the times that I get kids come over to their moms and dads like that. For me, that makes my day. That makes me
Yeah.
that makes me cry. That makes me get emotional.
Yeah,
So
I mean that Pete one actually, like we're not endorsed by anyone, so what I say is just my opinion. But
yeah,
I think that Pete one, I was there, and what I think is unseen is you go on the mic as you are, and then that Voil reacts to that and starts
Yeah.
moving barriers and
Yeah.
allowing people into the
Yeah.
area
Yeah.
rather than going, oh no, health and safety, or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
careful. Like they're reacting to you, you're reacting to them, you're creating that moment. It's all
Yeah.
over Instagram, it's all over YouTube. Like you can watch that video many times. And I think like it should be acknowledged that like the way it works in synchronicity is really good. And you know, I was really impressed with that moment. It was great to be part of that moment, just a small part in a guard of honor,
Yeah.
but you know, we happened to just be there in the right place, right time,
Yeah.
really. So we
No,
bowled
that's
in there and
something
did what we
on
do.
the in the early days of like Hyrox. That's something that was done pretty much at every event at the because there's always the last athlete. Always, there's always that has to be the last athlete, right? And it was something that, and because it was like, you know, I'm talking like 2 years ago, where the days weren't as long and the days weren't as busy. Yeah, you'd open up the barriers to the wall balls, and we would get everyone in and create that. All the volunteers would come over and judges, and you know, so we don't get that as often anymore. But yeah, that peak moment was pretty epic. It was good.
Yeah, it was
Loved it.
cool. So with this comes other opportunities, and just recently, might have even been last Tuesday, you posted a Puma Day. Now,
Oh yeah,
from us guys on the outside watching in
yeah,
on that, I was thoroughly entertained and looking for the next segment on your story because I was like, oh, what are they up to now? And, you know, being Cambridge based, we've got a bit of a relationship with Jade and she was there. Zara's
yeah,
only up the road and she's been to our gym and we've met Zara a few times. Like there
yeah.
was a bit of
Love
like
Zara.
interest there, I guess, if you know what I mean, as a fan or as a
Yeah.
consumer of the sport. Those opportunities, those days will be hard work, as fun as they are. I'm sure they're hard work, right?
Yeah, I mean, any photo shoot day, when you're doing fitness is difficult because the photographer wants you to do one more take, one more take, one more take, and you're doing the same thing over and over again. We did actually do a workout as well. Like I kind of orchestrated it and used my muscle a bit. I was like, right, we're doing a workout, and you can just film around us. But yeah, those days are long, but like it's also an opportunity um, to just kind of chat, you know, with everyone. And because whenever, well, for me anyway, whenever I see these guys, they're always like locked in, and I'm on the microphone, and then they finish, and it's a little, oh, amazing, well done, high five, and then they go off, and then I carry on with my day. So it's a nice moment for me personally to like catch up with them all and everything. And yeah, that day was we banged a lot of content for different uh, timeline launches. Obviously, all around the UK, Ireland, Hyrox events. So there's a lot of content coming out. Obviously, to do with Puma and Sports Direct. That's as much as I think I can say. Um, some new releases of some products, maybe, which is
Yeah.
pretty awesome. But yeah, everyone thought I was with Puma for years, just because obviously, like, yeah, I get gifted stuff and I'm seen in in their kit majority of the time. But I actually only signed with them early on this year and became an actual ambassador in April. So I'm with them for the next year. So like you said, opportunities, it's great. You know, when people do ask, it's like, yeah, I've signed with Puma, and you know, I'm only allowed to wear Puma shoes like in anything that I do, type thing, which is pretty cool. So, and obviously it's like they're quite a small internal company in the UK, and it's nice to, you know, actually feel a part of the family and stuff. And they're doing big things, and legit, like their trainers are pretty phenomenal. They really are. Like I've I've been in a lot of training and running shoes over the years. Not that I've run a lot. Like I'm a decent runner, but I'm nothing compared to the likes of the Puma athletes they've got. But yeah, they're a legit an awesome company, and I got an amazing opportunity to go to the Olympics for 2 days, and got to understand a bit more about the Nitro Lab, how they design the shoe, and what makes what work and stuff. So um, yes, you get to have some pretty cool opportunities through Hyrox.
Yeah, and working with those pros, the Hyrox pros. Obviously, like, you know, Jade snuck into the first. She's in the major now. Not just snuck
Yep.
in, actually, she's right in there.
Amsterdam. Yep.
Obviously, I think Jake's in there, isn't he, as well? He's he's,
First
he's in
one.
the men's
Come
first
on, bro.
one. So, you know, you got Jake and Jade both in there. They're very well documented as British Hyroxers for sure.
Yeah.
And to see them now reach the Elite 15 from a kind of fans perspective of the British athletes is a really good thing. Obviously,
Yeah.
we've got our other, you know, Zara, you were with the other day as well. She's back in there. Kate's back in there.
Yep.
You know, it's looking good for the British, right? We've got a decent lineup in the elite field. It's
Listen,
exciting times.
I lost my voice on day one of the World Championships. So the men's race, when Michael Sandbach, ran into the sled pull first, I went nuts on the microphone and I lost my voice. And for the rest of the weekend, my voice was gone because I shouted so hard. I was like, make some noise! Sandbach is coming in 10-01 and I just lost it because I was so. I've watched his journey. And he'll back this up. Like I've been with his journey from kind of day one, ever since the first London Pro, and I really thought he was going to do it. And the thing is, I love all the guys, and that's what I love about. There's no real like beef between any of them. There's healthy competition and there's a bit of banter, but there's no real beef. And whoever wins wins. I love Alex Ronkovic. I think he did a post the other day, and I never knew this about where he came from. Like his journey's phenomenal. Like you look at some of his wall balls in the beginning, he was shit. Like his wall balls were shocking. My wall balls have never been that bad. But then you look at now he's the world champion. It's amazing. But I want Michael Sandbach to win it so badly just because of the UK aspect and because I've just seen him and his journey. But like, if Jake Dearden came in and smashed it, listen. I'm gonna be so biased. Any UK athlete, I'll be right in there. I'll be like, come on. But it's
Yeah,
pretty awesome for the UK lot. Like just watching Zara do 100 unbroken wall balls in the relay last year, was just such a moment. Yeah, like Jake Williamson and Mark Dean, and I hope some other, like you said, that girl Holly, who I actually had no idea who she was. That girl Holly, like, yeah, it's
I mean,
fantastic. And
what about Lucy Proctor as well, right? Who you
Hey,
were with
listen,
last week?
let me tell you something about Lucy Proctor. Yeah, this girl, and she'll back it up as well. I've been in that girl's corner from day one, and I had to get into her head because she's so young, and she lost it on one of the races. Like she went out way too hard, and she gassed herself on the sled pull. But I got into her head. Like I have a fantastic opportunity where I can actually just step up to that athlete, and it's there. There are certain people who just go, oh, come on, get up again, do it again, let's go. And that doesn't work. If someone said that to me, I'll be like, can you shut up? Because I know what I'm doing. So I can see it and I know what to say. And, you know, Puma actually came to me and said, do you know any like up and coming female athletes? And I was like, Lucy Proctor. So Lucy has her Puma deal to thank because of me. But mark my words, she will be world champion one day, 110%. The mentality, not sorry, the attitude. She's got the right attitude for it. Her mental strength will just grow and grow and grow. So, yeah, she will eventually get into a major, and she will smash it. And she's like what, like 22 or something?
Yeah, young. And I think
Ridiculous, ridiculous.
just to kind of ask you on that, like we talk about Sandy and like Megan Lauren in the women's, and you know Hunter's there and everyone else. If you look at these guys and you look at their ages
Yeah.
and you look at what's coming below them,
Oh,
they're gonna have to. They've got to keep the standard for. They've got to work hard to keep that standard now because it's coming beneath them, isn't it?
yeah, I think the only like with most things like you could kind of like apply it to other sports where legends of the sport kind of are coming to an end, and it's kind of only through age, I suppose. Like you look at Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Like he's coming to the end of his career. Like he's not as fast anymore, but it's got nothing to do like with his experience. If you put his experience like he will demolish anyone, like with the pressure or whatever. So I think with the likes of, you know, like you said, all the current elites, like their experience will always come through, but there will come a time when that younger person who can just do things that little bit quicker for a little bit longer. But that's age, that's time, that's life, that's
Because
evolution, unfortunately. So
I think what was nice and what's been nice a little bit on the podcast, because we're still quite young as a podcast, but a little
yeah,
bit here in interviews, but also when I'm out there doing like little interviews and stuff at these events,
yeah,
I am loving how when you and I went to school, say, it was like everyone wants to be a professional footballer. Like, well, let's be a footballer, let's be a film star, let's be a pop star. And actually, now I'm talking to like young 18-year-olds, and they want to be the youngest elite 15 athlete,
yeah.
and they
I
want to be
think
a
as well,
world champion.
just having the Olympics, you know, gone as well, like such an inspiring event, like, uh, and you transfer that into something that is maybe a little bit more achievable than becoming an Olympian. Like becoming an Olympian is obviously crazy hard, but becoming an elite 15 is actually a very realistic thing to achieve, with, you know, the right support system and time, and you know, like, no one really talks about the money side of things. Yes, you can see what the prize money is, but like obviously, you know, these guys are making a really good, decent living off of all the other sponsorships and brands, and that's how majority of athletes, you know, live their life, unless they get paid. There could be a time where Hyrox pays an athlete for a season. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I am a big supporter of what they just released in terms of the kind of prize money for the majors. I think
Yeah. That's great.
that allows
Imagine,
those people
imagine rocking up to a race and winning it and getting paid. What was it like? Was it seven? What was the top prize?
seven
Seven and a
seven
half.
grand. Yeah, seven and a half
Seven and a half
grand. Yeah,
grand. Yeah, sweet. But then, like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people just see it in that 1 hour moment. They don't see the double session days, the 5 a.m.s,
yeah.
the
I mean, Kate Davey came on here and told us all about a 4:30 a.m.
yeah. Hey,
start. You
listen.
know,
But like, here's the thing. Like, waking up at I've done a few 4:30 sessions, but just like a bro session or just really easy cardio. She wakes up and she's smashing it. I don't know how, and you know, she's got 2 kids, so I can relate to that. I don't know how she's doing it. Like that's madness. And the thing is, it's like, what if she didn't have to wake up that early? What if she, you know, didn't have 2 kids in that sense of like all she had to do was just train? Like, so there's those different stories as well. Like there are athletes who literally have all the time in the day, um, to really apply themselves. And I just think it's amazing how many different stories there are to each elite athlete. Well, because they're, you know, obviously they're like the ambassadors of the sport. They're the ones that people watch the most. So I just think it's great. I think it's amazing. And like Mark Dean, just recently quit his job and he's now full-time athlete, but he's got 4 kids. He's got 4 kids.
yeah. So yeah,
Geese has got 4 kids, but like he's now, you know, what a change to your mindset. There's no stress about work. There's no stress about waking up early and, you know, training before. Like he can just train whenever he wants now. I imagine so. Anyway, and he's another guy that'll probably get into an elite 15 some sooner or later.
yeah. No, cool. 2 more questions, quite quick fire.
Let's go.
Are you allowed to be a pundit? And are you allowed to tell us your predictions for the next season that we go into?
Yes. Come on, I'm here for it. Let's go.
So go on then. The world champ in the male and female solo.
Oh. So, all right, let's go with the easy one. World champ female, Megan Jacoby. I just think she's got another 2 or 3 in her. Um, just the domination. Like it's clear. Lauren Weeks, I think, could potentially come back and nick it off her, but I think she's the only one who could potentially challenge Megan, in my opinion. The men's side of thing is so much wider. in terms of the goalposts. Like, and I honestly think anyone could win it. I want Michael to win it. I reckon Hunter could come back and take it. I reckon James Kelly could come in and sneak somewhere. Obviously, Alex, has the mental, edge on everyone because he's the champion. But we could also see some crazy. We could see some crazy things at the end of the day. And also, here's the thing: like, anything could happen in the race. Like, we saw that at the World Championships where Sandy got a penalty on the sled pull. You know that. That could have cost him. Like, he was so ahead at that point, but he still managed to come in second. But there are talks of like this guy Nick Bear doing a Hyrox, and that he is the hybrid athlete.
I'm
He could just
following
come
that story. Actually, he could come straight in, couldn't he?
He could come straight in. He could come straight in. Bro, some of his times on his runs, just like a normal run, are stupidly quick. And look at him. He looks twice the size of Hunter. So I think that I actually couldn't tell you. I could tell you who I'd want to win, and I'd want Michael Sandbach to win. I really do, because I think if he doesn't do it now, this season, I don't think he's going to have another shot at it. And I love you. He probably ain't going to fucking watch this, but I love you, Sandy. But if you hear this, it all comes from the heart. So you better win it now, bro. But honestly, whoever does win it is always the deserving person. I've got a lot of love for James Kelly. I've got a lot of love for Hunter. My heart broke a little bit for Hunter at the World Championships, and I got to train with him a couple of weeks after, and we had a few good deep chats and stuff. So but Graham Halliday, all these seasoned elites, mate. But what one thing I will say is, I'm waffling here a little bit. It's going to be a spectacle.
Yep.
Every major was going to be the Glasgow major is going to be insane. Let me tell you this now, all right? If you haven't got your spectator ticket, make sure you get it, because the Glaswegians are nuts. And the energy they provide, I've never been to an event like it. It was deafening. Like, the sound that they were creating was mad. So that major, I think, in terms of energy, is going to be off the Richter scale.
Yeah, I mean, you say a spectacle. They are going to be a spectacle. We'll be at Glasgow because that's here in the UK. But we're doing a beers and watch along at the gym for the others.
Are you? Oh, amazing.
Yeah, this is like a social.
I'll give you guys a shout out in Amsterdam.
So yeah, we love it. We absolutely love it. But doing a little watch along, so that'd be good. So this new doubles, this Elite 15 doubles, who's going to win that? Are the elites going to pair up like they have done, like Kate and Zara, or Megan, Linda?
Kate Davey and Zara, I reckon have got a good chance because they've done so many already together. And I think the more you train with someone, the better you find the weaknesses that you can turn into strengths. So I reckon they're in quite a strong position. But it doesn't take much for two savages to come together. Like, if you did have Megan and Lauren together, I mean, that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
So
all the best.
Yes.
Everyone else.
Yeah. Yes. In terms of the guys, though, I got no idea, because they're only allowed to do 2 races now, aren't they? The elites. So they.
So are they not going to be allowed to be in the relay team if they carry on doing that?
I don't think the relay's happening.
Oh, I thought that was a spectacle.
Yeah, well, this is. I won't name her, but I was chatting to an elite, and she told me there's no relay this year, and I was like, what? Like, that was, for me, that was probably the best part of the whole World Championships. But yeah, apparently there's no relay category in the elites anyway.
And
which
last
is a shame.
question.
Yeah.
Last question for you. That you're not going to tell us the answer, but where the world champs? When are we going to find out?
Oh yeah.
Are we going to get our tan on when we go there? What?
Yeah.
How's it going to out? When's this going to come out?
Do you know what, Marshy? I love the fact that you think I know.
Yeah.
But do you know what I can say? I can give you, because I've heard rumors as well, right? Okay. Because I've not obviously. I don't think it's been confirmed as of yet. And when it does, obviously they'll let me know because I need to book it into my diary, right? But there is definitely a European option. Maybe like a Spanish terrain. I'm not too sure. Barcelona, perhaps. There's definitely. I mean, Rotterdam is a very good location as well. There is talks of either an east or a west coast America, LA. If they did it in LA, that would be sick.
It's a long
And
way to go for a weekend, though, isn't it?
it's, well, I mean, people did Las Vegas, bro. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people went to Las Vegas. And there obviously is talks of they will have to do it eventually in an Asia continent. So I reckon that'll be the 25-26 season. They'll do it in that amazing stadium in Hong Kong, Singapore?
Yeah, I mean that looked epic, right?
That stadium looks amazing. So, but I think I don't know. I think they'll always. I mean, at that time of year, most places are hot anyway. So, but hopefully not as hot as Nice though, because that was a bit too
Oh,
hot.
it was ridiculous. Oh, it was great. It was great. It was great because I wasn't competing, and it was just great to be there. But it was boiling.
I was worried for the majority of that weekend. I really was. I felt for a lot of people.
No, awesome. So, like, we could go on forever, but like, I think what you've given us there and the insight you've given us into sort of your world and how it works and the future of Hyrox and this next season. It sounds like it's going to be epic, mate. And it sounds like we can all have a lot of fun while we do this, whether we're an athlete, a consumer, as a fan, whatever. This thing is growing, and it's a movement, and it's positive, and
Yeah.
it is fitting in with the positivity that you give us every day on Instagram. And any last thoughts on like the future
The future of Hyrox.
of Hyrox? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think there's just no limit to it. I think they will probably do more like signature locations, like they experimented with Berlin last year. So Berlin, I think's a 3-day event this year. Like doing it in that airport was insane. So I reckon they are looking into doing it in different locations to make it more of a spectacle. There's been some crazy rumors. I don't know if I should say any of them, but there's been some crazy, like, I imagine doing it here. If they pulled that off, it'd be amazing. So I reckon they will do more like signature events like that. But yeah, I think the global domination is just a matter of time. I really do. I think it's incredible, and to have a very tiny small part in it is pretty cool. But yeah, I think the main thing is just the amount of communities and the amount of different pockets of people and demographic and backgrounds is just phenomenal. It really is. It's a when you step back from it and think about all the different people that cross that line, is a pretty special thing that they've created. Like, that your picture there in the background, like just walking, running up that ramp is becoming like an iconic thing.
Yeah.
It's something you can't really just throw away. Like for us, it's like a conveyor belt. It's like boom, boom, boom. But for that individual person crossing walking up that ramp and getting their name up there and getting a quick photograph and a medal or a patch or whatever, I think is a very special thing that they've just organically. I don't think they realised how special it would be when they first thought, oh, let's do a ramp and let's have a leaderboard like I didn't think they knew it at the time, and now it's just this like, what a way to finish a race, in my opinion. I've always said they need to get ice cannons. Imagine cross line, go. Oh
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's a spectacle, that bit, and it's amazing. It's a great feeling, like the background of the video on here. And by the time I release this, my members will know, so I'll say it. We've actually got a professional film crew coming with us to Excel. They're making a film about the Purple Army and how fitness impacts people. So yeah, like we'll come and have a chat with you. Definitely.
Hey,
but
let's do it. I'll let you know when my lunch break is.
when they researched it and they were researching it, one of the first things they said was about the ramp at the end.
Yeah, man.
About running up the ramp at the end. That was one of the first things they said.
Yeah.
And they were like, all that work, all that training, people got day jobs and all of that. Brilliant. So
yeah, it's
awesome, mate. Awesome. So anyway, we could go on for hours. I'm sure we'll chat again
good.
at some point on here. But
yeah, definitely.
We'll definitely see you at the events. If anyone doesn't know who you are or where to follow you, where's the best thing to follow
Listen, the
story?
best place is Instagram. I love the platform. So it's Faisal PMA Fitness. You can catch me on there. I'm not really on. I dabble on TikTok, but I'm not really a TikToker. But yeah, just get me on Instagram. Hit me up. Any questions? Or I love helping people out. So spreading the message of a positive mental attitude is something I really believe in. So if anyone's struggling or just wanting to share a good story or whatever, then you can hit me up.
Awesome. So thanks for coming on, mate. We really appreciate your time.
Pleasure.
And thanks to everyone who's listening, watching, however you get your podcast. If you could leave a comment on that platform, a like, share it to anyone who needs it, because for us little guys, we're all about kind of that community and trying to spread the word and the stories. And you guys giving us a comment and liking and sharing does make a big difference. But for today and for now, I just want to say thanks again, Faisal. Thanks again, everyone, for listening. And we will see you here for more on the Rocks.